Well, it's the end of August and I wanted to give you guys a tour of what our garden looks like right now. If you're new to our channel, we moved to our property 7 years ago, and from day one our goal was to have a garden. Of course, we moved to bare land, we had to build a house, so the garden was on a back burner for a couple of years. We had a slow start. This garden is many years in the making, and I'm happy to say, finally, this is our best garden yet. This is only a 32 by 16 foot garden, and you can see we're not even maximizing all of the space. Every year it's on the to-do list to build additional raised beds, and one of these years it's gonna happen. I want to share something else. While this is a hobby of mine, I'm trying really hard for this to not be a hobby garden. We take growing our own food very seriously, but just because we do doesn't mean overnight that you know how to grow a lot of your own food. It's a very big learning curve, and even then you have to learn how to preserve said food and then eat said food, which is another learning curve, to learn how to eat what is in your pantry and eat what is in season. So I think with that said, let's just go ahead and I'll give you guys a tour of the garden, what we have going on, and we'll kind of go from there. So first off, we have wasted space A, and we have chives. These do really well in spring, but we stopped growing green onions because in all honesty, they kind of taste like chives to me. And then I killed my mint, which I know you shouldn't be able to do, but I will do the impossible, trust me. A friend gave me an itty bitty little mint start in early summer, and this is what it is now. So we have chocolate mint, and then we have another type of mint over here. I lied, I do have green onions. I couldn't resist. And then we have cucumbers. These are lemon cucumbers. There's a lot of flowers, but I don't know if we're gonna get anything this year, so there's that. Moving into more exciting stuff, we start many pepper plants every year, and I'd say we're killing it on some of our species. This is kind of the hot pepper bed, and by hot peppers, I mean like Anaheim, banana. These are doing well. They're not huge, but there are a lot of them. And then to not waste any bed space, I've interplanted a lot of lettuce, and this pretty much been serving our salad needs since spring. But this is working extremely well. Check these babies out. Holy cow. We had peppers earlier than anyone I know, which never happens with us. I think we had peppers in June, so really, really big win of the season. I left all of this space empty because I didn't really know what else to plant, and I never got around to it. Now I have planted, and I forgot what I put in here. Maybe some arugula or some lettuce or some red orach. These are some snapdragons that I started from seed, and I'm really happy with them. These have done really well. Something I have never had enough of and really is a staple in our diet is tomatoes. Not necessarily for fresh eating, but we do a lot of soups and stews and chilies in the winter, and we like pizza and we like pasta. It's really good to make in bulk. So I kind of went with the idea that I don't think we can possibly grow too many tomatoes, and I'm gonna grow a lot until I reach that uncle point. But we only have so much space in our tomato beds. I can't wait to talk about this. So I decided to overflow into these beds. And what I've done with these, and I decided to stake them all. This works really good if you have deeper soil. And these did grow a little more out of control than I thought, so the other evening I had to tie them all up. I think we have about 16 or 17 tomatoes in here, and this is a combination of the orange paste, and then back in this corner we have Oregon Spring, which is something I tried this year. We got rid of our wood chips in the garden. We love our wood chips for the walking path. We do not like them in our garden beds. Instead, I tried to plant more of a living mulch that's edible. I did basil, cilantro, parsley, and that was amazing until things started to bolt. I didn't plant nearly enough basil this year. I really struggle with my basil starts, I'm not sure why. So this year is very underwhelming for me. I don't really have enough to do pesto, but I do have enough to eat fresh. This here is Tulsi basil, or holy basil. This is the most heavenly stuff on earth. It makes the best tea, and one plant just for a casual tea drinker is more than enough. And yeah, then over here I just have more paste tomatoes. I did another ground cover here for fall. I'm hoping things germinate. Over here we have a strawberry patch. I went back and forth about growing fruit in our garden because fenced space on our property is a premium, and we have the opportunity where we live to get a lot of fruit. That said, I wanted to have strawberries in the garden for fresh eating just coming out of the house. I also feel for us, we want our garden to be a place where we can just come and have snacks. This bed I actually started last year, and last year this was all unproductive bed space because it took that time for the plants to get established. This year we pulled probably 10 pounds of strawberries out of this space, so we're pretty happy with that. I certainly wouldn't mind a larger patch, but that's good enough now for the size garden that we have. And in the spring I planted sugar snap peas here and snow peas there, and I recently ripped them out because it got too hot and they weren't producing anymore. In this bed I planted 3 different types of onions. Alyssa Craig, I think it's called, or Allison Craig, Patterson, which I've grown before, and then we also have a red onion in there. But these are a very respectable size, so I'm very happy about that. Over here we have ground cherries. My friends, if you don't know what these are, you should check them out. They look like a tomatillo. They have a little papery husk. This is what is inside. Some people call these pineapple tomatillos. I wouldn't say they taste like pineapple, but they're extremely sweet. Probably along the lines of a sun gold tomato, but people used to, back in the day, plant these in their garden. They're very popular with children. So I decided to plant a couple of these babies. I think by the end of the summer, we will have a lot of ground cherries to eat. And then what did I have in here? I had broccoli in here, and the broccoli did not do well. I didn't get any of it. It's a long story, but I've since ripped it out and I've replanted this bed with winter greens. Over here we have our bell peppers. Somewhere early in the year we had some problem where as soon as the peppers would grow, they were pretty much immediately diseased. They'd shrivel up and die, but it seems like they've since gotten their act together. And finally we have some respectable bell peppers in here, the colors being red, yellow, and orange when they are fully ripe. I've also interplanted. This bed was carrots, except we had a very busy summer. We weren't able to keep the seed moist, so most of those didn't germinate. And then in this bed, we planted a lot of beets, and there are some decent looking beets in there. And then again, on this trellis, I have a pole bean. This variety was extremely prolific last year, so I grew them again. For here, this is just kind of free space, so this is where I like to plant sunflowers. I had some little, I think they're called little jumping johnnies, little edible purple flowers in there earlier. And then again, I didn't really know what else to plant, and I had one more planter, so I tossed a zucchini in there. Okay, I officially saved the best for last. I put build tomato trellis system on my honeydew list and it got done. So basically I have, I think 8 cherry tomatoes on this side, being a combination of sun golds, which are my favorite. And then now my second favorite are super sweet 100s. Those are more like a red sun gold. I love those. I will be growing those again, and maybe exclusively those 2 varieties. We're not really huge fans of like the slicer tomatoes just because we love them on pizza. They're nice on sandwiches and burgers, but those are not staples in our diets. But I felt like I had extra space and I had the seeds, so I grew some, I think they're called Cherokee Purple. And then I got a couple from a friend at the farmer's market, being Prudence Purple. And then some, I think Berkeley tie-dye, Berkeley pink tie-dye, something like that. I don't know that I've gotten to eat one of either yet, so I can't tell you how they are. And then on this bed, we really focused on paste tomatoes. I can say I'm extremely happy with these. I did a really big garden harvest last night, so I don't have anything ripe to show you, but this guy, he's looking pretty good. And I just love these because they're extremely uniform and prolific. Okay, totally forgot. I have one more bed to show you guys. This was our potato bed. We did get a pretty decent crop of potatoes from here, but that is something that we have the opportunity to barter for, and so we don't worry too much about growing our own potatoes because that is something we can get in bulk that will sustain our family for the next year. So that is an end of August garden tour of what's going on right now. A very small feather in our hat is right now we only go to the grocery store because we run out of something very specific, but we're not going there to do our grocery shopping, so to speak. We come to the garden, we try to do a very large harvest. We found that if we come harvest about once a week and we do all of the prep, do what we need to do to get it in its most edible form, then we really just assemble our meals at dinner time, but we don't spend all of this time doing the harvest, doing the prep, we just assemble. My motto with gardening is fake it till you make it, baby. If you've been following our channel since we moved to this property, you'll know that this is quite the garden for Alyssa. This represents a ton of hard work, a ton of time, a ton of failure, a few successes, and it feels so good to be to this point. I want to say, if you're a newer gardener, hopefully this serves as some type of inspiration as to what is possible, but maybe you never figure it all out. I think even the most seasoned gardeners will tell you that they are always learning. But at the end of the day, they grow food, and they grow a lot of it, and that is what matters. And that you're having fun.